to the Drunk Rasslin Lounge. I, as always, am your host, J.M. McCaffrey, and I'm joined by none other than my designated podcaster, Go-Go Jonesy.
What's up, man?
Go-Go, how you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good.
I decided I'm going to start calling you Go-Go instead of Jonesy.
Perfect.
It's
Perfect.
It's sillier.
It is way sillier.
Oh, man. Can you believe we made it all the way through that run-up to the NWO?
How fun was that?
That was amazing, dude.
I hope everybody enjoyed that as much as we did. Like, that was...
dude, I'm so jacked after that. I was so excited.
That's why we're doing this, man.
Man.
Like, those runs like that, like, going back, those nostalgia feels, all that, like, that is...
Yep.
That is everything.
I came out of that so excited, so juiced, so, like, energized and ready to love wrestling again. And I got excited to do some current events. We were gonna catch everything up, everything since WrestleMania. And man, this last couple weeks, the whole wrestling world has just decided to fucking explode.
Well, I mean, everything's ugly right now.
Everything is ugly.
There's no reason that wrestling shouldn't follow that pattern, I guess.
I guess, man. Finding out workers are dirtbags. In a business started by con men and carnies. Imagine that.
Yeah,
Imagine
weird.
that.
Yeah. So there's still carnies amongst us. That's crazy.
And people getting fired and people refusing to work and turmoil in the WWE center. It's all ugly, man. And that I never wanted the Drunk Wrestling podcast to be that. Like, I want this to be about remembering great wrestling, celebrating great wrestling, or at least enjoying it in that way that you do, where you kind of look at it and laugh a little bit,
right?
When some of the old stuff's hokey or cheap or whatever,
right. And there's ugly parts about what we celebrate, and there's ugly parts about anything anybody's passionate about, any sport, anything anybody celebrates. But
for sure,
you get bogged down in that.
Yeah, and we want this to be a escape.
Yeah.
A celebration of wrestling.
Absolutely.
So we are not going to talk about any of that. We're not actually going to catch up on very many current events news-wise. We do want to send a shout-out to Becky Lynch. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Seth
Rollins.
And Seth Rollins, presumably.
Yeah. Congrats to those guys.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
I hope they raise another little last kicker.
Oh, they will.
Yeah. And congratulations to Asuka, the women's world champ.
Absolutely. What a cool combination of things to come out of all this weird time of wrestling.
Yep.
Like, that moment that they had, that Becky and Asuka had in the ring was real. It felt real. There was a lot of emotion. Like, it was really cool.
Yep.
My little daughter watching it, she's like, I think they're really friends. I'm like,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like, you have to be happy for Becky right now, you know? And it was a cool deal, man.
Awesome.
Really cool.
Well, moving on from that, we are going to do some current events in that now we're going to spend the rest of our time today shit-talking the 3 or 4 pay-per-views that have happened since Mania. 4 pay-per-views.
Yeah.
4 pay-per-views. And, benchmark for this show, we're going to cover the AEW pay-per-view.
We are, man.
I don't know if that deserves a whang.
Oh, man. Well, we both watched it. It does.
It deserves something.
We're doing everybody a favor, I guess.
Listen to us instead of watching that.
Yeah, because you guys all want to hear us yell about clouds and getting off our lawn when we talk about AEW, for sure.
Well, before we get started, though, we do need some taste. If we're going to talk about these pay-per-views, I'm going to need some lubrication.
Yeah,
as
and
it
I
were.
encourage all of you to join in because, man, it's been a rough time.
So I picked up some little shooters today. We've got some other big ones, but I found these. I didn't see them in a big bottle, or I might have picked up a big bottle. But this is Breckenridge, a blend of straight bourbon whiskey out of Colorado. And it's whiskey with snow melt from the Rocky Mountains in it. That sounded...
So it's got, like, ram piss in it.
Well, yeah, that's... I hope. It's the only way to be authentic.
Yeah, that's right. It smells like ram piss. No.
Welcome back.
Yeah, buddy. I love this.
Oh, yeah, you can really get some of the ram's piss in there.
Smells sheepish.
It's got all those bright bright whiskey notes. The kind of I always just equate it with Jack Daniels, that kind of bright almost sweetness, whiskey sweetness.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whiskey sweetness is different than regular sweetness.
That is for sure. Whiskey sweetness burns. This is it's a pretty generic blended whiskey. Man, the dishwasher could have done a better job cleaning this glass. Jesus.
No, it's just got thick legs, bro.
Who washes these dishes around here?
I don't know. Isn't that you?
Yeah.
I like it actually. It goes down. It goes down real smooth.
I like it too, but it's a very. If you just want to say I'm going to drink some whiskey tonight, you can say that's the Breckenridge. It does not have its own character. It is just kind of a. It's. It is bourbony though for like a blended whiskey. So.
I think it's tastes like Jack Daniels.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think it's a little fuller, a little more rounded, that's
probably the ram piss.
The ram's piss, yes. It brings a nice pissy roundness to it, and I think it's good. I would prefer this to Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Jack Daniels, and I guess probably because it's the first whiskey I ever remember drinking, before I even liked whiskey. But that's Jack Daniels is like my go-to, my ground floor for whiskey.
Yeah,
like if somebody's like, if
somebody's
like, what's whiskey taste like? I'm like, well, whiskey tastes like Jack Daniels.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jack Daniels is my least favorite non-Scotch whiskey.
Absolutely. Mine too.
Yeah.
Probably my least. I would say Jack Daniels is my least. Well, my least favorite.
Non-Finnegrins.
Non-Finnegrins.
Bird dog.
Non-flavored. Non-Finnegrins. Non-flavored.
We have started setting the bar lower and lower. That's for sure.
That's my goal. That's my goal here at Whiskey and Wrestling.
Yeah, we're just trying
to
make
how
to make it so we like Jack Daniels.
How low can we set that bar? Speaking of,
how low can we set bars?
Money in the Bank. I want to start there because I think it was the longest to go, right?
Yeah, it was the nearest to WrestleMania.
Nearest to WrestleMania. And
this was before Becky made her announcement.
Yep,
so.
The day before, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's correct.
The pay-per-view as a whole, I just thought was super generic. You have any thoughts on the pay-per-view itself? I really want to bitch about the Money in the Bank.
We don't have to. There's nothing memorable about Money in the Bank,
right?
Except for the Money in the Bank match,
right?
And it's probably memorable for the wrong reasons, but that pay-per-view is generic. And honestly, to me, it looked to me like the WWE didn't give a shit about it, and that's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah,
watching it. Was they don't care about this at all. Why do I care about this?
Why do I care about it?
Yeah.
For sure.
So, I don't even remember the matches that happened on the damn thing, to be honest with
you. The only match... Oh, let's see. There was the triple threat to open it was the New Day,
yes,
Miz and Morrison, and
which was fine.
Who was the third match? The Usos?
Yeah, the Usos.
It was fine.
Miz and Morrison, the Usos, and it's what you're going to get out of them. I mean, there's a lot of good workers in there. They're not going to put on a bad match. But again, it just felt like they didn't give a shit about it. Like,
it just felt like, let's not think about a match. Just put this one out there.
Yeah.
Let's not.
We know this will be good.
Right.
We'll just throw this out there. And they've had build on SmackDown and all that. And it's, your typical, like, every time the New Day's on screen, it's fun. Like, Miz and Morrison are great. The Usos are always great in the ring, but they don't spend any time giving them any kind of character or anything like that, So
yeah, it's almost like it's they've been around so long.
Yeah, they're workhorses, and that's what like they're one of the greatest tag teams ever. But they're so understated in that fact that it's like they're one of the greatest tag team ever because they've won a bunch of championships.
Yeah, and they've just completely stopped.
Yeah. Stopped
following up, stopped growing the teams. It's like, well, you guys are established, so now you're just going to be that forever,
right?
And it's one of those things. Like, it's fine for it to be that way. You know, I mean, how much growth do we really feel like Hogan went through once he was established? You know what I mean?
Right. Sure.
But that's where and that's where the storylines come in, and compelling TV and characters and teams are supposed to grow through that stuff.
Yes.
Whether or not they do,
The WWE Championship was defended. It was Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. And it was a good match.
It was the closest thing to a good match on the card. No, not closest thing. It was a good match.
Yes, it was.
It was a good match.
And you fully had Rollins getting into that Monday Night Messiah persona, which I think has been working well for him.
Yeah.
It's a cool gimmick. It's kind of a neat thing to see him do. And I honestly, I remember years ago when the Shield debuted.
Yeah.
I thought Rollins is never going to be a heel ever.
Right.
He's never going to do it. He's great at it.
Yeah, he's good at it.
He's a really good heel.
I think one thing I have to say about this match is that I almost feel like, it kind of, you can kind of see it's another one though that feels just kind of like they don't care. Like let's just rush to it. Like we didn't it feels like Rollins McIntyre should have been like the SummerSlam,
yes,
with several months worth of build.
Absolutely. Rollins has all of his cronies and everything like that, and that's the first big test that McIntyre has to face as a champion.
Yeah.
Which in normal times, that's probably what would have happened.
Maybe.
But it seems to me like they're just throwing shit against the wall to get, eyeballs.
Braun Strowman defeated Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
In a terrible match that I didn't care about at all.
Terrible match, didn't care.
They did that dumb shit. Well, and that was one, it had so much possibility because of the build-up. Braun Strowman came in as a member of the Wyatts, and, Bray was doing that thing, come back to the fold. But then the match was just, the whole thing, the storyline was not, is Braun Strowman, it was Braun Strowman's not gonna. You just would boot him every time, and no, fuck that.
Here's my only defense of how they handled that, which is a terrible defense because they should have just saved that shit too. Mm-hmm. But is this the first time we saw Bray Wyatt work as Bray Wyatt since the Fiend incarnation?
It's the first time I've seen it.
Yeah, me too.
But I have not been as diligent.
Right.
I don't know if it's happened on Raw or SmackDown at all.
I was under the impression that we've always gotten the Fiend, and for some reason this time we didn't. And I think that's going to be explained. However, Bray Wyatt had a kid.
Yeah.
And he went home to be with that kid.
Yep.
And so this was a perfect opportunity to write him off for a little bit of time. So
I guess so. And then I guess he'll come back as the Fiend.
He'll come back and,
we'll get that.
They'll have a ready-made story ready.
Which is fine. They did this spot in the match where Braun Strowman put the mask on, the old black sheep mask on.
Right.
Which came out of nowhere and went nowhere and was bad.
Yeah.
It was completely superfluous, and it comes back to something I'm going to talk about when we get to the Money in the Bank. But it was almost like they forgot how to that could be the have they forgotten what wrestling's supposed to be, because they get to a spot. Braun Strowman controlled most of that match. He was on the attack almost all the time. They rolled outside for a little bit. He sends Bray back into the ring, and then he just for no reason grabs the mask and puts it on. Mm-hmm. And when he does that, Bray Wyatt assumes that he has decided to come back to the fold, and so he just celebrates that, and they take forever getting Braun Strowman's stupid ass in the ring with Bray Wyatt overselling the fact that now he's back. I got him. He's back. I knew you would. And then Bray Wyatt just takes off the mask and hits him.
Yep.
And not only does he takes off the mask, throws it down, and stomps on it, but it's like a thin plastic mask, so it just springs back up. So it's not even like it's a good, you know what I mean? It's not even like it shatters. He didn't rip it or anything. No, it just like, oh look, you did nothing to that mask.
Right. Yeah.
Ugh. I was so mad. And then he just wins the match.
Yep.
Nothing to talk about there. Bailey retained against Tamina.
Oh yeah.
Nothing to talk.
That was
I
a
didn't
weird-
really think there was
weird
anything to
deal
talk
anyway.
about there.
Like the build up to that was kind of cool because they gave Tamina a little bit of a spot to shine, but man, I thought she looked a little out of her element in that match and a little
She just
maybe wasn't punching her weight. I mean, I hate to say that she's talented, but Bayley's uber talented, and I feel like
she couldn't match up.
I feel like
I get that.
and that's partially on Bayley because she should be able to hide that a little bit better. But to me, it looked like Tamina was definitely not ready.
I agree.
For that, which
I
is
agree.
silly because she's a veteran, but she just didn't seem like she was on par.
Yeah. And we all have off nights, and maybe it was an off night.
Sure, absolutely.
Who knows?
I've always liked Tamina.
No, yeah.
I've always thought she's a good wrestler. She's got a lot of lineage behind her.
Yep.
She's got really good size, especially for the women's division now.
Right.
And she was one of the first ones to actually wrestle as a woman. You know, when this whole women's evolution thing came around. So.
Bobby Lashley pinned R-Truth. That was the one I didn't get. I don't know if I didn't get it because I hadn't been paying attention to Raw much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that match started like it was going to be R-Truth and MVP.
Yeah.
And then Lashley just came out and he was like, "Yeah, I'll just handle this one," and then basically squashed R-Truth.
Yeah, which I feel like was to build for Bobby Lashley being in the main event.
Yeah,
In hindsight.
and which I'm fine with. And I like R-Truth being around. I think it's a shame that they just mash R-Truth so willy-nilly. You know, I mean, I get that he's a comedy character, but I never understand why they have these comedy characters touching, like, real storylines and stuff, you know? Like,
well, that's the whole thing. Like, you can't get into a match with R-Truth, and which is, I think, a tragedy because he's a really good wrestler. And at this stage of his career,
he's really funny too.
He's
I laughed out loud,
hilarious.
dude.
You'd rather him doing that.
Dude, I laughed out loud when Bobby Lashley, because he's getting ready to get up with R-Truth or with MVP, and Bobby Lashley comes out and he's like, "Don't worry, MVP, I got this one. You take the night off." And R-Truth's like, "Thanks, dog. I'll take the night off too." And he just goes to leave.
It always makes me wonder, like, most of these guys have shit written for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really want it to be where nobody told Bobby Lashley or MVP that I got it, dog. I'm off too.
Yeah,
like I love him. He's hilarious.
He is good. But back to what we were saying, it doesn't necessarily
translate.
fit. Yeah,
it's great. It's a great opportunity for Bobby to squash a guy that the fans like and become even more of a heel because that's how Bobby has to be a heel.
Right.
He does. He's got an MVP with him for a reason.
Because he's not good enough to do anything else.
So. When we did that fucking Money in the Bank thing yet?
Yeah, it's time to talk about
that.
I think that was all the other matches.
Okay.
Because I was so mad about the Money in the Bank. And I honestly think, like, I really liked the Boneyard match. I really liked the, what was the other
Firefly
one? The Firefly Funhouse thing. So I was, when they started announcing, the Money in the Bank is going to be through the whole Titan Towers, I was like, oh, well, I'm in. I'm juiced.
The minute I heard that it was both matches happening at the same time, I was like, well, I'm not sure I should be as excited about this now.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't give that particular moment much thought. I just thought I didn't give that particular moment any thought. I was just like, okay, well, we'll see. I was already all in for, like, the overproduced. I've been digging the overproduced stuff. So
they were 2 for 2, and they hit both of them out of the park.
Yeah,
for my money.
For me too.
So you had faith that this was going to be another win.
Right, and it was not. It was the opposite. Yeah. It was like I don't know. Like, it was so off to me, this whole segment, that I could not. I had a hard time believing that the same team that had made the Boneyard match made this.
It was really all over the place, and so that's the like. I know that you hated it, and I didn't care much for it.
Yeah.
And like this entire week, I've been trying to build a defense, and my only thing I can come up with is like, there's fun moments. That's it. That's all I get. But I can see why there'd be no enjoyment in those moments because the fucking thing's all over the place. It really is.
Yep.
It's a waste of a lot of people's talents.
Yes.
Like, Asuka's in an elevator for 2 hours.
Right.
Like, how fucking tall is Titan Towers?
For real.
You know?
How slow do those elevators go?
Right. And Daniel Bryan's in this match, and Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black. I mean, there are legit great... I mean, just some of the best wrestlers they have in this match. And... man.
So I also have a huge problem because I feel like they didn't even, and this is going to be kind of a recurring theme as we talk about some other stuff. I wonder if they even remembered they were making TV. You know what I mean? Like they would set stuff up and they would tell jokes without follow through, without paying stuff off, without any kind of punchline.
Yeah, no. The joke was the visual. It was never. There was never a punchline to any of it. Like
right.
You had the food fight stuff, and at that point in time, you get the focal point of this is Otis.
Yeah.
Which we're going to get to that. Which, okay, that's fun. This is supposed to be fun.
Right.
And then 2 minutes later, you have, maybe 2 minutes before, you have AJ Styles facing some random office at Titan Towers. It's the fucking Undertaker's casket's in.
Right.
And he freaks out because he was murdered a month before by the Undertaker.
Fair.
Remember?
Yes.
And so
all right,
this whole mishmash of feelings and whatever, like, it's supposed to be fun, but like some of these moments, it's like, this is really cool. It does not. Does not go here.
There has to be a punchline.
Right.
You know, like I've imagined the pitch meeting where they're all coming up with ideas, right? And it you know, over and over again they're like, what if Brother Love shows up? Haha, that'd be hilarious. Yeah. And what does he do? Like, you guys are making television. There has to be a punchline.
Right. He's just in the bathroom.
Yeah, this isn't a YouTube video.
Right.
You're making television. There needs to be a punchline.
Yeah.
You know, because Brother Love shows up, and what do? They just Rey Mysterio looks at him.
I love you.
And then he walks by.
Yeah.
They did the same.
Restroom.
They did the same.
John
Laurinaitis.
Yeah.
He rolls in on his little roller thing, and he just goes, people power.
People power.
Now, he got a pie in the face, but that was like a punchline with no joke.
Right.
You know, it was like, well, what if Laurinaitis gets a pie in the face? Okay, why would Laurinaitis get a pie in the face?
Yeah. They're just showing us here the people that work here.
Right, you know.
They're in this.
Who was close?
Paul Heyman's eating a king's feast.
So mad. Well, and they do that. So they accidentally pie in the face or sandwich in the face Paul Heyman, and everybody looks really scared that Paul Heyman's going to get mad, but then they just have a food fight, and Paul Heyman just leaves.
Well, no. I mean, you can't, like, when Otis yells food fight, you have to have a food fight. You can't worry about what Paul Heyman's going to think. But then, in the middle of the food fight, Shayna Baszler's choking the fuck out of Rey Mysterio. Right? But Shayna Baszler, who's one of your most badass characters there is in the middle of this bullshit.
Nonsense.
And she's choking Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Like,
what's the point of that, guys?
Yeah. I mean, fun.
Also, can we talk about, before we get too far, you mentioned Asuka being on the elevator. How come Asuka didn't just win?
Right.
Like, she got on the elevator before anybody else.
Right.
And, like, it left before anybody. Like,
she was in it for an hour and a half.
Do they think we don't know how elevators work? And then when the elevator finally opened, she got off and just, like, not at the top floor. Like, why would you...
Well, elevators don't go to the roof, you idiot.
My bad. My bad. You got me on that one.
I can't wait till we get to the roof. I have so many fun things to talk about.
The stuff, but you know, the AJ Styles thing is a perfect example. Because first of all, he comes around that corner and there's like the big mural of the Undertaker, and like they zoom in on it, so we know it's the Like, I know that's the Undertaker.
Yeah.
You're not zooming in on the Undertaker. You're zooming in on a picture of the Undertaker, dickhead. Like,
you got the Undertaker, player.
And then there's like so the Undertaker keeps an office with a casket.
Yeah.
But like,
where else are you going to keep your caskets?
Aleister Black throws AJ Styles in there, and then nothing happens.
Right.
You know, he throws him in there. Yeah, he throws him in there.
If the Undertaker would have popped out of that casket and been there,
right? Or if AJ Styles had been gone for the rest of it,
right?
But then he just he doesn't even. They don't even.
He figures in the finish.
He figures in the finish. They do that thing with Daniel Bryan, because when he comes back, he just comes strolling out. They don't even show him like escaping the room or leaving the room.
No.
Just a little while later, he just comes walking in and punches Daniel Bryan, and they go into Mr. McMahon's office,
which is a blast.
Because
the fact that he has a fucking T-Rex skeleton on his wall is my favorite thing I've ever seen.
Except there's no way that's really McMahon's office, right?
Who else would have a T-Rex on their wall? Nobody.
John Hammond?
Who the fuck is John Hammond?
From Jurassic Park.
He spared no expense.
But there's not even a desk there. He's like it's like a little bitty conference table, and he's sitting at the head, but he's facing the wall where there's.
Let's not act like Vince McMahon knows how to use a computer either. Like, that's not a thing.
But I guarantee he's got a desk. You think Vince McMahon doesn't have a desk?
He just meets with people. What else? He doesn't do anything else.
He's got to have a desk.
Maybe for vanity. You're telling he doesn't use it.
Oh, I'm not saying he uses it, but you're telling me that Vince McMahon doesn't have the one thing that every single other CEO in America had: a big giant desk that people.
What other CEO in America would you say doesn't have a desk?
No, I'm saying they all do.
No, I'm saying
fair
he's
call.
the only one.
So because he's the only one, all right. Maybe I'm in for that now.
Okay, fine. It's not his office. The office with the fucking T-Rex skeleton says it's Vince McMahon's office.
That's fine, and that was funny, even though the payoff was.
We have to fix the furniture.
Kind of lame.
Yeah.
You know.
It was an inside joke, kind of lame. Like that's exactly what it was. Like,
yeah.
You know, if you go into Vince's office, you got to fix the chair type of, ha ha, you've been there.
Right.
Nobody fucking knows that shit.
Right.
Like,
well, but
we go in there and
also
we're pissing off Dad.
Yeah. Also, all he does is just go, "Get out!" like he didn't know this was going on. That was the other thing. You know, they there's the one point where like Stephanie is there. And Stephanie comes out and except she super wasn't there.
Right.
Like they couldn't shoot that any better.
No, exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? Like and also Vince is there. Stephanie's not there.
Right.
Like we gonna get Vince, we can't get what the fuck?
Well, she's in Orlando.
Whatever, man.
I don't know.
Whatever.
That was I fucking forgot about that.
Yeah.
I wish I hadn't even brought that up.
But she also is like
Dana Brooke goes into a conference room and
the Money in the Bank conference room.
Yeah. She grabs a briefcase that's just hanging in the conference room and thinks she won.
Right.
Obviously, she didn't. And then Stephanie McMahon pops in over webcam.
Shot on her phone.
Yeah, she shot it on her iPhone. And she's like, this isn't the right room, Dana. And then fucking Nia Jax got knocked out. And she starts making fun of her for snoring.
Drooling. She's drooling into the carpet.
Yeah.
It's gross.
God.
Well, and she was like, you guys are destroying the building. As if... Yeah. She didn't know what was happening. Like
you booked this, Stephanie.
Right.
Remember?
Right.
You put Paul Heyman with 20 yards of food in front of him into like just some random hallway.
I wish I had 20 yards of food in front of me. All right, so let's get to the roof.
We're at the roof. Okay. This is the main thing I want to talk about. I don't feel like enough people brought this up. Baron Corbin fucking murdered 2 people on that roof. Okay? And it just happened, and then they went to the finish.
Yeah, they didn't even talk about it.
No! They're like, oh, he threw him off a goddamn fucking roof!
Well, there's no commentary except for when people win.
That's true.
So they couldn't react to that at all.
Right. But somebody should have
He
yelled.
didn't even react to that.
Yeah.
He wasn't like...
Hey, I just murdered Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, he just grabbed Rey Mysterio, dumped him over. Well, can we also talk about how he could have won... He easily... He could have won the Money in the Bank, except he decided to try and stop Asuka from winning, and she kicked him in the face. I was so mad at that. Like
I said, all of the crossover stuff sucked.
Yeah,
it all was awful. But yeah,
I'm fine with Asuka kicking kicking him in the head.
Well, fuck yeah.
Except they're
That's
not
great.
competing, so there's absolutely no reason.
Why would you
he
try
like
to
climbs
stop her?
that ladder and he's like, "Hey, stop!" With the weakest,
Yeah.
he's like, "Hey, don't do that!" And she kicks him in the face, and he falls off.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just climb up there and grab the briefcase?
I like to pretend that she kicked him really hard.
Does she kick any other way?
No, probably
I
not.
assume she does.
I just hope she just fucking
murders everybody she throws those feet at. I assume
She didn't murder him like he murdered 2 people. And she saw it. She was a fucking witness to it. And she should have called the authorities.
Dude. Yeah. Yeah, but they don't cover it. They don't react. Nobody reacts. He just like chucks them off, and that's it.
That's the thing. Like, and then like that was the first thing I texted you that night when I was watching. I was like, "Hey, Baron Corbin just murdered 2 people, and this is awesome."
Well, maybe. So there was definitely a time that Hulk Hogan threw the Giant off the top of a building. Do you not know this?
No.
Oh yeah, for sure. They had a monster truck fight, and then they got out of the monster trucks, and Hogan beat him up and threw him off the side of the building.
Oh my god! How much did Andre hate that?
Not Andre.
Oh, the Paul White. Fuck. That makes way more sense. Like, how did they get Andre onto a roof? Did they have to drop him off a helicopter?
Yes.
Anybody want a peanut?
Oh my gosh! I can't believe you don't remember that. You've never seen that.
No.
Now we have to find that.
Yes.
We have to find that.
I cannot wait for that episode.
I'm pretty sure that's a pay-per-view. So we're gonna find that pay-per-view, and we are gonna watch the shit out of that pay-per-view.
I can't wait, man.
That's going.
Hulk
That's
Hogan
going on the
murders
list.
Paul White.
I have to check. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
I love it.
It's when. I won't even bring it
Mid-90s
up.
WCW is a treasure.
Dude, it's earlier than that, dude. It's before NWO stuff.
Oh.
It's when Hogan was
But Hogan went there in '94, so it's
it's still mid-90s,
Yeah.
but yeah. Anyway, so Otis and Asuka win with the lamest cameo by, like, if you were Elias, would you be mad they called you for that?
yeah.
Like 30.
I gotta go to Connecticut for this.
I gotta go to Connecticut for 30 seconds to hit somebody with a breakaway. Can I do anything else? Stephanie doesn't have to go.
All right,
and she's got more time than I do.
and presumably she lives there. So the 2 things that I enjoyed were the finishes.
Okay.
Asuka, I wanted her to win that.
Yep, I'm good with
for
that.
sure. I wanted to go after either one of those champions. Whatever. That's great.
Yep.
Otis, after what I just saw, I want Otis to win that briefcase. And now I hope he cashes it in for the 24/7 championship. Like I really do. Like I think Otis has been fun, a lot of fun. Giving him that Money in the Bank, it's and in this pay-per-view where they're like, we don't give a shit about this Money in the Bank. I'm glad that he won.
Listen, I have issues with Otis winning. Here are my issues. One, I feel like, so I'm not gonna say that that's not how the rules would work. If 2 guys pull it down and fumble it, the guy who catches it wins. But to me, that feels like those rules shouldn't work that way. you know, it feels like that should not be the way.
He slipped on a banana peel into the win,
right?
Basically, yeah.
Right. Like if Otis is going to win, that's probably the best way for him to win.
Well, and they pushed this stupid thing on us too, where they're like, "Oh, he probably can't climb the ladder, can't hold him." And
he broke the one rung.
It's like I've seen fucking Kane climb one of those ladders.
Thank you, Big Show.
You know what I mean?
Big Show has climbed ladders.
Yeah, like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. And how hard it was, so obvious. Like the rung he broke on that ladder, like he had to stomp on it. You know? like nobody climbs the ladder that way. Like,
well, I do.
Well,
I hate climbing ladders.
Okay, my bad.
I get really mad.
My bad. You and Otis.
Right? Yeah, it's just us.
All right. And then, so then I also need to point out how, like, it just ended after that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was no aftermath. There was no follow-through.
No
like,
ambulance for Rey Mysterio and Aleister Black.
Nothing.
They're like,
It
well,
was
they
just
got thrown off a fucking building,
as
so
soon
they
as
must
he,
be dead.
Yeah, as soon as he got the belt, we heard Michael Cole going, and that's Otis wins. Your winners tonight, Otis and Asuka. Boom, done, out.
Yep. And it was like 2.5 hours. They didn't give a fuck about.
They did not give a shit about that pay-per-view, for real.
That was my whole takeaway from it. We spoke way too long about that fucking Money in the Bank, man.
It's all right.
You guys liked it? Sorry, I'm not going to yuck your yum, but it was.
No, yuck your yum is yucky.
It was shit.
Your yum. Anybody who liked at me, dog.
Jam McCaffrey.
Anybody who liked Money in the Bank, I will Twitter you back and forth all day long.
Fighting in a dark alley.
Maybe not that.
With katana swords. Yeah.
Next. What's next? What do you want to talk about next? We got 3 other.
AEW.
Is that what's next?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Let me pull up the card.
Blow through this thing.
Oh, you know what? I've got. So, how did you feel? So you seem to be like the one who's always pushing me, like, oh, we gotta AEW. It's good. It's the future of wrestling.
That's what the fans want, man. Like.
Is it though?
I'm willingly going to admit that it's not our cup of tea. Like, it's especially not mine or yours.
Yeah.
And there's good on AEW, but it's hard to find the good because when I watch it and when you watch it, I know you have a tough time sitting through all the shitty parts that you don't care for that other people might like, finding the good.
You could probably just say I just have a hard time finding the good.
That's what I meant.
I hate all of it.
Okay.
I have notes. Do you have stuff you want to say, or do you want to respond to my notes?
I want to respond to your notes.
Okay.
Because there's only one thing I enjoyed on that whole card.
So the very first thing that jumped out at me in the opening package, Sammy Guevara was like, "They tried to kill me with a golf cart." You cannot kill somebody with a golf cart.
People have killed themselves with golf carts.
No, they have not. It's impossible. If they flipped them, it was the ground that killed them, not the golf cart.
Okay.
It is impossible to kill somebody with a golf cart.
That's a really fair point.
I know golf carts. I've seen golf carts. I've been on golf carts. I know that you cannot kill a person with a golf cart. And so
what if it has a lance coming out of the front of it?
Then it is the lance that kills
God
you, not
damn
the golf
you're
cart.
Right. Fuck. What if it's a golf cart made out of spikes?
Is it still a golf cart?
Yeah.
Then it can't kill you.
God damn it.
There's no way. There's no way that golf cart can generate enough speed for the spikes to puncture your skin.
Okay. I like it.
Also, Nyla Rose said, "I'm Nyla Rose. I break bitches," and like that it was just so like meh.
Generic heel.
Generic. Not even good generic heel.
Right, yeah.
Just so like. Don't put that. Somebody write her some. Make her do another take. Somebody write her some fucking copy.
Right.
Give her.
You have like 3 of the 8 best promo people ever. Working for your company.
Right.
Like, let's do this again.
Like there is
Malenko.
There is a thing. You know, like we like to bitch about the WWE writing everybody's promos. There's a difference between writing everybody's promos and producing somebody when they suck.
Right.
When you say something generic, when you say something bullshit, I want somebody to go, "Hey, that was kind of bullshit."
Yeah. You have Arn, Jake, and Tully in the building.
Right. Tully. Fucking you have Tully in the building.
Fix that shit. You have Jake. Best promo of all time in the building. Go fix that shit.
Fucking A.
And Mike Tyson.
But it might be a risk. It might be a risk sending Jake over to coach one of the girls.
That's an unfortunate truth, probably.
Okay. One thing I liked. Probably my favorite part of this pay-per-view. You ready?
Yeah.
How fucking awesome was Jimmy Havoc's suit?
the best.
White blood spatter. Dude,
the best.
As soon as he came on. But
when he wore it, I was like, I want to wear a fucking suit now.
Yeah.
Like, that's the suit I want.
Right.
This guy's so punk rock.
So awesome.
Had no clue he's British. He cut that promo, British accent. I'm like, what?
Right.
You know?
So the other thing I will say though, I couldn't look at anything else. There was a whole other promo. He was like the muscle guy and
Kip Sabian and
Penelope. Yeah.
Penelope.
Penelope. Awesome. And I couldn't look at anything but Jimmy Havoc's suit. I don't even remember what that promo was about.
Nobody else does either.
But that suit was fucking bananas. The shit. I loved it. Okay, so then we open with a Rumble.
Who did Kip Sabian wrestle?
Well, he's in that Rumble style ladder match that I was just going to say.
Oh, okay.
So this Rumble style ladder match is interesting, yeah?
Not Rumble style, right? Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, they come in like every 2 minutes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I was going to say it was a gauntlet, but you're right. Like, everybody's out there.
Yep. Yeah. I think... I have an issue with... I think that's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
I have the issue with the idea that any actual competitor would agree to a match that could end before they are out there.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Royal Rumble, no matter what...
You get the 30.
You get the 30. Even if there's one guy out there that eliminates everybody as they come, all 30 have to come before they can win.
Yeah.
I never liked the rules for the War Games match, but at least it made sense. At least it made sense in the fact that you could not
win until
you couldn't win until everybody was in there.
Right.
Yeah, you know.
Right.
So it was kind of off to me that what if somebody
if Colt Cabana climbs the ladder now, he can win this. Yeah.
Right. And then they doubled down on making it stupid because they sent out two guys who were on the same team first.
Yeah.
And I feel like 100... I know they're like, oh, they're good guys and they both are competitors and they want to fight and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like 100% if you and me were in a match like that, and we're not even a stable, we're just the Drunk Rasslin Podcast.
Hell yeah.
But if we were in a match like that and we showed up first, one of us would be like, get that motherfucker, and then we'll fight it out.
Right.
If whatever the deal.
Me and you will settle this later.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
don't give any of these guys a chance.
So that's dumb. Darby Allin. Mm-hmm. How fucking indie is Darby Allin with the face paint? Like when he came out. Now I'm gonna say something maybe in forgiveness of Darby Allin. When he came out. He came out in like skinny jeans with half his face painted, and I was like, that is the indiest dude I've ever seen on TV. He is so fucking indie, and not even like good indie, like garbage indie. Here comes this skinny ass kid with half his fucking face
like
painted.
Backyard.
It does, yeah, indie. Yes, backyard. How fucking backyard is this kid? As the match progressed, I came to the realization, maybe that's kind of the gimmick.
Yeah.
So I will forgive that, and that, man, this kid is working that gimmick.
Yeah.
If he is. I didn't see him do anything that particularly impressed me, per se.
He bumps his ass off.
He does bump his ass off, man. He does bump his ass off.
He's an interesting deal, and he's had a good match or two that I've enjoyed with Cody. I think it was just one, but like. There again, like anytime I say anything I like about AEW, Cody's involved.
Right.
So, my guy, like what you just said, indie as fuck, like which I want to say right now doesn't bother me because I feel like AEW is trying to give.
They're trying to leverage that indie.
They're trying to say you come in here and be who you are.
Okay.
And that's fine. That's fine with me. Because there's more character to a lot of these guys than there are to NXT guys.
Okay. All right.
Joey Janela, who's in this match.
Okay.
Every time I see him, I'm like, I've seen this guy 470 times.
Okay.
Like, every time. Like, I just don't... There's nothing... Like, I appreciate what he does. I appreciate how hard he works, everything like that. But it's just... I'm wearing all 80s colors and these cool shades. And
so I'm
barefoot.
I'm gonna jump in here real quick. I want to make an aside, right? Let's have an aside real quick before we keep going. I'm tired of saying I appreciate that these guys are athletic or do what they do, whatever. I'm gonna raise a glass.
Fuck yeah.
To everybody who is doing it, everybody who is out there. If you're a wrestler, I respect you.
Yeah.
If you're a wrestler who has survived and gotten up there, you're obviously doing something right. You're connecting with some people.
And doing what you love.
And doing what you
you're
love.
On fucking television.
You know,
it's awesome.
and yeah, it's awesome. And congratulations. Now, here's the price of your celebrity. I appreciate everything you guys do, all you guys. And this is our blanket statement for this episode.
Forever.
Not forever. For this episode. We'll come back. We'll come back. I want to do it for this episode.
Okay.
That we respect you guys, we love you guys, and everything we say is underlined with that
respect.
That love.
And that
love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's we love you first, and anybody outside the wrestling business talking shit about you guys, I'll fight them.
Yeah. We'll fight them with you.
I'll fight them.
I will not try to ollie on them, Darby Allin.
We respect you guys. We love you guys. And any shit we talk comes from a place of love.
Absolutely.
Here's to you guys. Everybody. That being said, I am offended. Personally offended and disgusted by absolutely everything about Orange Cassidy. I've never been so angry watching a wrestler as I have watching Orange Cassidy. I feel like my fucking love of this business is being fucking spat upon by the mere existence of an Orange Cassidy.
Okay, so I agree with you. I don't think there's anything great about Orange Cassidy. Anything. I think, blanket statements aside, this whole ironic wrestler thing, he's captured it perfectly. Like, nobody's ever going to do it better than that, but it fucking sucks. Like, it's not my cup of tea at all.
Fucking sucks.
Man.
It's bad.
I cannot get into
Orange Cassidy. Stop it. Stop what you're doing.
Or keep doing it.
No.
Whatever.
No.
You're
Stop.
doing fine.
Stop.
Man.
He didn't. When your gimmick requires you to pretend like you don't know how to win a ladder match, you're doing this thing wrong.
It is a ladder match. And the commentary, okay.
Here's
my other thing.
Hold on. My very next note is, it makes me sad to hear good old JR call him bullshit like Orange Cassidy.
Here's the thing, though. Like, there's two fucking legends in that commentary booth.
Yeah.
Like, two of the best ever.
Yeah.
And they don't know what to fucking do with Orange Cassidy.
No.
Like, can somebody coach them? Can somebody say, this is just an ironic thing, it's something for you millennials, or us millennials, or what, whatever the fuck. Like, this is an ironic gimmick. It's irony. He doesn't give a shit about anything. He's fucking not narcissistic. He's
nihilistic.
Nihilistic. He's nihilistic. He doesn't give a shit about anything. And this is the gimmick. Can you guys explain that? And maybe actually saying that out loud. Somebody probably tried to say that to them. And it might have been Excalibur.
Well, no,
and
because...
they're like, no, what?
Well, Excalibur...
We're out here to win. Fucking motherfucker.
He's a nihilist, JR. Now I just picture... He's a nihilist,
harmless.
JR. He's harmless. No. But even...
These men are nihilists. They're harmless.
Even Excalibur doesn't quite... Because Excalibur just keeps going, well, I just think he's really lazy. He's just too lazy to care. Like... If so, somebody
the gimmick's not lazy. It's the gimmick is ironic wrestler. That's entirely what it is, and it sucks.
Stop.
Okay. Hey, Colt Cabana, good.
Colt, you like Colt Cabana?
Yeah. Yep. Enjoyed the shit out of him in that.
Okay,
match.
so how about
he was
this?
the only guy who got out there and knew what the fuck he was doing. Right?
Fair,
you know what
for
I mean?
sure.
Like he knew what the objective was, and I'm like, hey, there's a fellow 40-year-old.
Yeah. So it was so weird to me. The thing that stands out about Colt Cabana, it was so weird to me because they kept calling him a veteran Colt Cabana, and I know he is, and I know he's been doing it longer than me, and I know like that's where we're at, and that's the deal. But like, it was just fucking weird. Like, I don't know. It just every time it jumped out at me every time. They were like, veteran Colt Cabana, Colt Cabana the veteran. I was like, is he just what? I mean, yeah, obviously, but
for
what?
Sure. Yeah, Scotty Goldman. You know what? Like the time he was in there, I enjoyed the most of, and then when he would get thrown out, I'd be like, no.
Okay, I can see that. I really hate that ladder matches have become about setting up elaborate ladder spots and not about just throwing your opponent at ladders or hitting your opponent with ladders.
Absolutely.
Like I know that's the state of the ladder match these days, and I hate it.
Yeah.
And that's not. For once, that's not any of these guys' fault because
Jesus,
the Dudleys and Edge and Christian and the Hardys started that.
Yeah, years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah, but it's grown, and I hate that that's what it's become.
Yeah.
My next note: fuck Brian Cage. I hate Brian Cage. I've not liked him. I've not liked him ever in any spot, any company I've ever seen him in. He is one. He comes back to
some Old Crow.
I'm still
drinking.
He is one that like he looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
Although he looks, do you know who Shea Wiggum is?
Yes.
He looks like Shea Wiggum on steroids, dude.
He does.
Exactly.
Nucky Thompson's brother from Boardwalk Empire.
In his face, he looks. See, I always think of him as the guy that Brian always beats up on the Fast and the Furious.
Oh yeah.
He's the dude who always gets his nose broke.
That's awesome.
If you guys don't know who Shea Wiggum is it Wiggum?
He's in every television show that's been good.
Yeah,
ever.
Wiggum. That's Wiggum. Go look it up. He's been in pretty much everything.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys.
Yeah, he's great though. He's great.
The instant and also like the instant you look him up, you'll know who he is.
Yeah.
As soon as you see his face.
Oh yeah, I watched that show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you'll never be able to unsee that with Brian Cage.
Yeah. No. Like I never made that connection, but just now.
Yeah.
Like because I've seen Brian Cage one time, and it was this pay-per-view.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I've seen Brian Cage several times. I watched a little of him when he was at TNA. I watched some of him when he was at Lucha Underground.
Yeah. So I was super impressed with how quick he was and how well he moved.
Yeah.
But he looked really green to me and just strong.
So he's been around a long time to look as green as he does.
Yeah.
And that's my thing. So when he showed up at Lucha Underground, and what I hold against him, he's very athletic. He's actually good in the ring. He can work. Mm-hmm. When he showed up at Lucha Underground, he came in and he was just such a WWE guy that it made me not want to watch his stuff. Like I'm watching Lucha Underground. Excuse me. I'm watching Lucha Underground to see Lucha Underground, and not in a way. Like, I suppose you could say, oh, well, that's what makes him a good heel. That's why he was in that spot, because he showed up and, but that's not what I want to see. Like, when I'm watching Lucha Underground, I'm watching to see different shit, not to boo what I can go watch on WWE.
Right, yeah. He's also got the most indie fucking name of all time.
For sure. And he's carried so he's carried that with him a little bit. And everywhere he goes, everywhere I see him, they treat him like a big fucking deal. And I don't think he's good enough. He's not charismatic. He has a body. He has a body, and he's decent in the ring, which is a good combination. But he's not charismatic. He doesn't cut good promos. I've never seen him do anything memorable other than exist.
Yeah.
So,
all of the ring charisma that was sold to us was sold by JR and Shivani.
Absolutely.
Honestly.
Absolutely.
Because it was
treating
a big deal
him like a big
out.
deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Treating him like a big deal.
Yep.
Like and I guess that's the thing too, is like every company I've ever seen him at, every time I've ever seen him, he is treated like a big deal, except that I don't see it.
Right. Well, and that's the thing with this match. Like, he came out there to be a big deal, and it's like, you know, fucking Colt was twice the size of all these guys in this match. You know, like, and probably twice the fucking worker at this point in time. You know.
Absolutely.
So, God, that match.
Let's see. It's noticeable. So I have this note here. It says it is so noticeable that they're waiting for their spots. Okay.
Yes.
Even at the end, there's a spot where Luchasaurus, it's with Orange Cassidy, right? I
fucking forgot Luchasaurus was in this match.
Yeah. So they come in. Luchasaurus comes in, and Cassidy is doing his thing. He doesn't see Luchasaurus, and Luchasaurus stands there and puts his hand up on the ladder and waits a solid 15 seconds before Orange Cassidy turns around. And when Orange Cassidy turns around, Luchasaurus pushes over the ladders, and they have like a stare-off, right? And it was so obvious. And that's like the clearest example that I can put out there of them like waiting for their spots, and obviously, but through the whole thing, it is so obvious. All the spots that are set up, all the like they're waiting, that they're watching. You know, they don't even. There's no blind cells. They're always looking right at a guy, waiting for the spot to come. Like, it is so obvious, and that's my problem. One of my problems with that kind of spot wrestling is, and maybe for me as a veteran, as a 20-year veteran of the industry, it's easier to see, but like watching that is like so obvious.
I'm sure
I see everybody looking. I see everybody watching.
Because anymore, the payoff sitting through that is what's at the end of that. So you're always going to get a crazy spot at the end of it, right? So that's the payoff for all that. Fucking Luchasaurus, man.
Excalibur fumbles every single finish when he starts talking. He sounds
he's
good.
Having a tough time with those two.
Maybe, but it's never. I feel like he always starts talking and he sounds good and he has a coherent thought, and then at the end, he finishes poorly. Every single time. I feel like he does that.
Yeah.
Every single time I feel like he does that.
Here's the impression I get is that he is still not comfortable with JR because JR is out there to call the match.
Okay.
And JR and Tony aren't comfortable with their roles together, and also are not comfortable calling what this kind of wrestling is.
So that's a good thing for you to bring up, because this booth is just fucking god awful. There's two play-by-play men and
there's three play-by-play men.
There's two play-by-play men, and Excalibur is the color guy, but he's a face. Right? And there's nobody calling for heels. There's nobody calling action. There's nobody JR, you're absolutely right that JR has no idea how to call this style of wrestling.
Right.
And he even sees, like, that's almost becoming his gimmick, to where he's like, so-and-so doing something or other, I guess, I don't know, but I guess that's what we're doing now. So, you can hear it in his voice, right, man.
Yes. Like, he's questioning it, but, like, a couple weeks before this, he called Hager and Moxley in an empty arena match by himself, and he was JR. He was gold. He was.
I did not.
He was 10 years ago. JR. It was on an episode of Dynamite.
Yep.
Just a random deal.
Yep.
And it was a good fight and everything like that.
Right.
Like, you're gonna get that from those two guys, but he had it the whole entire way. He didn't call it live.
Okay.
Or he may have called it live, but he called it remotely. Whatever the case may be. But he was on his game.
Okay.
Shivani has been out of wrestling for 20 fucking years.
Right.
Shivani is still fucking good.
Okay.
Like, he is still good, especially at interviews and everything like that. He's still Shivani. He's the straight man every time.
Okay.
He still can do what he did. You throw in Excalibur, who wants to do play-by-play, wants to explain all the shit. There's no time for that. Because every spot happens, bang, 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 bang.
For sure.
So they can't keep up. Like, there's enough talent there that they should be able to call a good show. There's a lot of inside jokes between Ross and Shivani because they're like, well, we don't...
That was a lot more than I thought it would be.
Awesome.
I was like,
Have some water.
Liz. Thanks. I really thought... so I grabbed
2 more pay-per-views.
I grabbed our Black Velvet to finish it off, and I really thought there was just like, a little over a shot in here to finish off, and I just like, fill up my cup. Sorry, go ahead.
Anyway,
we've wrapped up both the Jameson Cold Brew and the Black Velvet Toasted Caramel.
thanks for joining us. Like and subscribe.
All right, so you're absolutely right.
There's enough talent there.
There is enough talent
there. It should
there.
thrive, but there's some...
There's too much overlap.
Yes.
They're all trying to do the same job.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
they need to sit down
because they've all only done that job, though.
Right.
Like I feel like.
Well, I feel like
maybe some more months and they'll be better, or maybe they'll just never figure it out.
I don't think they're ever going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like talk about as much as I talk about as much shit as I will talk about the locker room sitting down and planning out too much spots, like that announce table needs to sit down and fucking figure out, okay, Excalibur, you start calling for the heels and start pointing out the shit because we're two old fuckers.
Yeah,
so
start pointing out
pointing out the shit that we don't understand.
Right.
Because
he needs to be Mike Tenay.
Yes.
He really does.
Yes.
And
JR
needs to call play-by-play, fine.
No, I think Shivani needs to call play-by-play.
Right. I'm all in.
Shivani needs to call play-by-play, and JR needs to just... JR needs to be where the King is at. So when we hear King on a 3-man booth, King lets everybody else do their thing. King lets Michael Cole, and Michael Cole is fucking bananas, but he does all his...
He's so good.
He's so good. He calls play-by-play. He does plugs for the app. He does whatever, right?
He replaced the legend, so everybody hates him.
Well, yeah, but he's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, and he does his job, and his job is dry.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
You know, that's where Shivani needs to be. Shivani can do all that stuff and drop
yeah.
all those things and be dry, and that's what Shivani needs to do. And Excalibur can explain all the bullshit. Not all the bullshit. Excalibur can explain all the wrestling because he's up on the modern style and everybody's gimmicks and stuff.
Right.
And JR needs to sit back, and JR needs to throw out his sound bites when he sees his spots. And that's what the King does now.
Yeah.
King sits back, and every once in a while, King will zinger a one-liner in there, and then King will shoot another fucking thought in there. And that's where JR needs to be.
Yep. I agree. I can't believe we went that long on that announce team.
Well, we're still working here. I'm gonna
move.
I'm gonna move through my notes a little quicker because we're only at the second match now.
We got 2 more pay-per-views, folks.
Jungle Boy versus MJF.
Mm-hmm.
Solid. Worked well.
Tell everybody what you think of MJF.
I feel like they looked green. I think MJF is just a generic heel.
Mm-hmm.
I like MJF. I like his work. I think his promos are fine. But he's got to find. Okay. Here is a perfect example of my problem with MJF. His music starts out with, "I'm better than you, and you know it." And then within 2 seconds of his music starting, the announcer goes, "He wants you to know he's better than him, and he's better than you, and you know it." He is one note. He is generic heel. And my problem is I think I see more in him.
Yes.
Okay.
There's more there.
Nobody is pushing him. He gets so much validation from the minimal amount that he does. That if he was being challenged by somebody, if he had to step up and actually perform against other people who could perform, he would be phenomenal. But he gets so much validation and so much leeway, and everybody is just like, oh, fucking MJF is the greatest. He doesn't have to push himself or evolve at all.
Yeah. So he is excellent at what he does. He does not do anything else.
Yeah.
Anything but what he's excellent.
Right.
Here's the thing with MJF that I think is a detractor.
Okay.
He is living his gimmick.
Okay.
He's an asshole to everybody.
Yep.
Fine.
Okay.
Maybe you're really an asshole. Cool. You have to be able to evolve what you do in the ring, what you do on the mic, everything like that. Everything you've done to this point are just hitting beats, right?
Right. So let me expand on that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because on one hand you're right, but on the other hand, it also not on one hand you're right. You are right. My first experience with MJF was on the Stone Cold podcast, and I turned on an episode of the Stone Cold podcast, and I skipped the MJF one because it was like Stone Cold MJF. I was like, I don't know who MJF is, and the next one was somebody I recognized, so I was like, I'll come back to that. I skipped it, and Stone Cold opened that podcast with, I just want to thank MJF for coming on. Actually, he opened it with, last week, y'all might have heard me and MJF kind of had a little, he got disrespectful at the end. I had to put him in his place, and that little son of a bitch, but I appreciate him coming on, and I think he's got a hell of a talent. He just needs to learn a little respect, because the next time he comes on the Stone Cold podcast, he's going to have respect or something. And I was like, well, now I got to go back and listen to this. And here is my problem. He was perfectly respectful. He just did the Stone Cold podcast. He talked very coolly. He was just another guy who was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm on the Stone Cold podcast.
Right.
This is so cool. Here's my experience. Here's why I love wrestling. Here's how I got into it. He told his whole story, and then it was blatantly obvious.
He flipped that switch.
When he flipped the switch, right? And like at the end, they started working. And I appreciate the fact that Stone Cold called him and said, hey, do you want to be on the podcast? And he said, only if we can work, only if I can put in some work. And Stone Cold was like, hell yeah, son. Because the end of that is awesome. He says, it's clear, at one point at the end, he starts cutting a promo and calls Stone Cold Baldy, and Stone Cold goes full fucking Stone Cold on him. Awesome. You son of a bitch. It's awesome. and kicks him out of the house. So like, it's awesome, but that next level of where I wouldn't be able to tell when it happened.
Right.
That's what he needs.
Yes.
And that's what that happens. If it had just kind of grown through the whole thing and all of a sudden they're kind of at odds and Stone Cold screaming at him, kicking him out, and I'm like, this is amazing. Am I bought in? Am I whatever? But there's clear, like, almost as clearly, like there's not a point where Stone Cold goes, all right, son, cut your promo now. But there might as well have been, Yeah. So, like, if he can blend that,
yes.
Like, I appreciate that he's trying to live the gimmick,
yes.
But if he can find a way to blend it where
I've seen fun shit where he's at a Comic-Con or whatever,
yeah,
and fans are coming up and he's just checking his phone.
Yep.
He's like, like he doesn't give a shit,
right?
And we always have the stuff with Conrad Thompson that we listen to, and he fucking hates him. Like he always says he hates him and all this, and it's
well, and to be fair, I've also seen tasteless stuff like him giving the finger to little kids.
Oh yeah.
Which is
fucked up.
Yeah, not where we're at these days,
yeah,
guys.
Yeah, live the gimmick, and also it's not 1982.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. All right. What's next?
Well, I also need to. I feel like I can't.
God damn it!
Hold on. Why is Jungle Boy still allowed to be a gimmick in 2020?
I don't know.
On every level, it's cheesy, it's hokey, it doesn't make any sense. Tarzan, like, if you go back and read Tarzan books, they're super fucking racist and pretty offensive. Like, why is that a thing we're allowed to be around? And we don't need to have a big conversation about it. I'm just saying, you're Luke Perry's son. You have a gimmick that will make you millions and millions of dollars, and you're doing Jungle Boy.
Joe 90210, let's go. Hey, this is one thing, like, I've been listening to JR and Conrad a lot recently, which, you know, sorry for shouting out to that. Don't go turn that on. Watch this instead. Anyway, JR gets shit all the time for calling him Jungle Jack Perry.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? Why are you getting shit for that?
Right.
Because his gimmick's Jungle Boy. He's like, no, Jungle Boy Jack Perry. And it's like, yeah, he should fucking be Jack Perry.
Right.
Like JR knocked this out of the park.
Why is
he's done so many other things.
Yeah. Why is he running away from the thing that will make him money?
Right.
I got super mad they did a Canadian Destroyer and didn't even sell it in that match. All right.
They did.
All right, next. The footage of Jake Roberts and Lance Archer
is the best.
With like them when they had like
trampoline
a ring,
wrestling.
Yeah, a ring
it's
in
my
the fucking
dude.
In the bayou or wherever they're at.
I love it so much.
That stuff looked amazing. It made me want to watch not AEW but a show of Jake Roberts training Lance Archer in his backyard.
I love that shit, dude. And since Lance Archer's come in, that's the shit they've been showing, and it's always been undercut with Jake fucking voiceovers, and it's like Jake labors to talk anymore, but it's still fucking just better than anybody else, man.
Yep. So this is Archer versus Rhodes.
Yeah.
And Tyson comes out for this.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So this tournament's a big deal.
Okay.
They made a big deal of this tournament on Dynamite. Big deal. There was a match where it was Shawn Springs or Ty Dillinger or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, versus Dustin Rhodes, and Dustin Rhodes said,
Spears, isn't it? Shawn Spears?
Yeah, Shawn Spears. I won't, I'll retire if I don't win this. No. It was Dustin Rhodes and Kip Sabian.
Okay.
I'll retire if I don't win this. He won it. And then he lost to Archer the next week. But it was just this cool fucking build-up, right? Like tournament build-up.
Right.
Like you're into, like it's wrestling. This is awesome. They got to this match, and they had Anderson and Jake.
Okay.
And you're like, those are the two best DDTs of all time. Those are two of the best promos of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty excited for this.
Yeah.
They built it through those fucking legends.
Yeah.
That's how you have to use them. If those guys are backstage helping you do whatever, you build it through your legends and then let it get in the ring. And then you have thoughts.
I don't have thoughts. I don't disagree. You're right. I wonder why we have like this happening with this. I think it's indicative of kind of the thing that is going to be dragging this down, that like, let's do what we want and sort of, excuse me. The fact that Jake is working with Lance Archer, that's fine. The fact that Anderson is working with Cody doesn't need it.
No.
Why isn't Anderson working with MJF or somebody who could benefit from being with Rhodes?
He doesn't need to work with MJF either, but like another deal for sure.
I don't know if
who brought out Brian Cage? Taz.
Right, you know what I mean?
Actually, that's probably a good spot for Taz.
Well, that's a fine spot for Taz. There are plenty of other people who, because now if Cody's last name was Flair, I'd be all in 100%. But his name is Rhodes, not Flair.
That's
a very minor thing, but I think it makes a difference. Because
for us it does, maybe.
I think for everybody, man.
Guys older than us?
For guys older than us?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Rhodes. So Anderson was always against Dustin.
Yeah.
Dusty,
yeah.
Anderson was always against Dusty.
And Dustin.
Right? Yeah. So why is he all of a sudden now with Cody? Except that because they wanna. You know what I mean? And Anderson could be doing so much good with somebody else. He could be bringing somebody else along. He could be elevating somebody else. I say MJF because we just talked about how does he need talent advice from MJF? No. Does he need finishing advice from Anderson? Maybe.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So that's fine.
So Anderson, Cody is finished.
Yeah.
Cody is finished.
Cody is great.
You know, MJF could get finished by Anderson, and
sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
but that's backstage. Like that's not what we want Anderson to do on camera, right?
I would prefer it.
Yeah. Go out there and finish MJF.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. If I see it actually happening, you know,
yeah.
Like I don't. There's no draw for me with Anderson and Cody any more than there is.
I completely agree with that.
Okay. All right.
I want to find the right foil for Anderson.
I'm sure there could be. You could stick any number of other names in there.
Yeah.
I felt like so let's move on to this match. One, I felt like the shooting of Tyson was terrible. I felt like Tyson
He yawned fucking on camera, dude.
So more than once, dude, they shot Tyson. He looked like somebody's grandpa watching a wrestling show.
Yes.
You know, just kind of like, this is yeah, you know,
still,
and like
bad as fuck.
Like they'd catch him like looking over and talking to somebody else.
Yeah. Hey, what are you eating?
And I don't know what I would have wanted them to do with Tyson. Maybe just shoot him less. Let me forget he's there.
Yes.
You know, maybe that's the thing.
Until the end.
Until he jumps up and chases Jake back off. Right? Let me forget he's there.
Also, don't you want to pay off with Jake? Maybe Jake can't take a payoff from Tyson. I don't know.
No,
don't you want a payoff there?
I felt like okay. So the payoff. So at the end of the match, Jake comes out with he's okay. So at the end of the match, they do a spot where Anderson gets caught helping Cody.
Yeah.
The referee kicks Anderson and Jake Roberts out. They leave, but immediately Roberts comes back carrying a bag that doesn't have Damien in it.
But Revelation's in it.
Okay.
Snakes live forever.
Yeah. So,
the earthquake killed Damien.
Tyson jumps up and pulls his shirt off and goes up to the entry ramp and backs Jake Roberts down.
Right.
Now I'm fine with that as a payoff, except that the visual was bad because Jake there was a long distance between them, right? Like
Jake didn't get right there,
right? Like had they gotten face to face, had they stared him down, had they really had like a stare down and a moment where you think, are these guys gonna go? Is Jake gonna fucking
throw down with Tyson?
Right.
Let's go.
Oh my gosh, what's happening right now? And then Jake backs down. I'm paid off. But instead, Jake comes out of the entryway. Tyson backs off immediately. They didn't even get within 20 feet of each other.
Right.
So it doesn't have that moment. There's no, had they even gotten nose to nose, or Tyson could have snatched the bag away from him. Any number of things they could have done to make that feel like a payoff.
Yeah, absolutely. So you only have Tyson out there to present the championship or whatever, and you don't use him for anything more than that.
Yep. We also didn't mention...
It was a good match, though.
We also didn't mention how Lance Archer randomly comes out with a dude to chokeslam.
Every time.
He's like, I got my own dude. Here's a chokeslam. Yep. Does he do that every time?
No. For on Dynamite, they have the guys out there. He just comes out and beats somebody up in the crowd. It's awesome.
This is great. Well, I haven't watched Dynamite at all, only this pay-per-view. So, like, I was real thrown off when Lance Archer came out dragging some dude and chokeslammed the shit out of him.
He usually pulls him out of the crowd.
Okay, well, either way.
Usually by Billy Gunn and his son.
Either way.
Yeah.
The match was fine. I felt like the Bailey Tamina thing. Cody tried to take Archer to a place Archer is not capable of going.
Well, I shouldn't say not yet because he's wrestled for a while, but
has he been brought along? So look, all these guys.
He was
Cage,
in the WWE though. I mean,
so listen, Cage, Archer, dudes like that who obviously are athletic enough, who obviously have a good look, who obviously have a passion for the business, like. Have they just, like, did they get... Because Archer was in TNA... Hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
Archer was in TNA, and he was a Test ripoff in TNA. He looked like Test. He could have been Test. He worked like Test. Once he was in TNA, did he hit the indies, and everybody was just like, oh, shit, you're Lance Archer, do your thing, instead of anyone ever... trying to bring him along and square him up. I think the same thing about Brian Cage. Brian Cage was kind of a big thing. He was a big thing in Lucha Underground. Then he hit the Indies and TNA. Did anybody ever try to bring him along, or were they just like, you're Brian Cage, go ahead, do your thing?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like dudes need to be brought along and need to be trained up. So like the amount of time doesn't necessarily matter. If you tell a green guy he's good and go do whatever, he's going to be green forever.
Yeah, that was the point I was going to make.
Okay.
Like if he came up 20 years ago,
right,
he would have been brought along.
Yes,
and he would have wrestled some of the best of all time.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And everybody would have been clamoring to have Brian Cage and Lance Archer.
Yeah.
Wrestling them
because
they're big as fuck,
right?
And they would have brought them along, and they would have shown them how to work and everything like that. They don't have that anymore.
They don't.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like that's the maybe the worst part of the territory days being gone. Right.
Right.
Because you don't get stars just coming over.
Yeah, and there's no older guys to bring you up.
No.
And we've been on shows with veterans and stars. They want to come and leave as quick as possible. Yep. They don't want to come help anybody. No. They don't want to work with anybody. Maybe the guy they're in the ring with. Yeah. Maybe the guy they're in the ring with.
They'll do that.
Yep.
Most of the time.
You know, if they need it. You know, because the other thing is normally when a name shows up at the at an indie scene, he's in there with the best guys. So he doesn't need to be brought along. He doesn't need to be. Maybe he'll glean a little bit. When I wrestled Tommy Dreamer, I got a little bit from Tommy Dreamer, but he didn't need to tell me a whole lot for what we were going to do. It's not like I went to class with Tommy Dreamer.
No, all the stars I've ever wrestled. It's always been this is what I do, and let's go do this.
And you get a little
here in our town,
and you get a little bit from those guys, and thank you for. Absolutely. The little bit that we've gotten. But it's not like they come in and get put with a guy who can learn a lot from them and who can glean, you know what I mean?
Right. And that's those guys, man, because Lance Archer's right there. Right?
Right. This podcast is going so off the rails.
So long.
Okay.
Fucking
let's move on.
God damn.
Fuck the.
God damn.
I have a note here that says, "Fuck this DDT spinebuster spot." The next note is Lance Archer is not very good. The final note though is that match wasn't bad. I appreciate what Cody wanted to do, but he didn't have the dance partner to do it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna say one thing. Cody is the best wrestler in AEW.
Dude,
it's not
all around
all that close. Like
there's a gulf. There's
not a gulf. It's not a gulf, man. Like Kenny Omega is great. Adam Page is great. They're great at what they do.
Okay.
Chris Jericho's fucking awesome.
Okay.
But Cody Rhodes is still the best wrestler there, and it's
Cody. Let me present the.
Cody Rhodes is the only one who does wrestling matches on those shows that are fucking wrestling matches.
How about this?
Ready?
Cody Rhodes is the best package there. When Cody Rhodes' music hits, when he comes out, the way he carries himself, the way he, like, I feel like something different, something bigger, something more important is coming out.
Every time.
I do not get that way with Jericho, who I have a much longer history and loyalty to. I do not get that way with Dean Ambrose, who I fucking am a huge fan of.
Yes.
I do not get that way with Jake.
Yeah.
You know, and Archer or whoever aside. When Cody Rhodes' music hits, I feel a shift, and it's partially the music, and it's partially the way he carries himself, and it's partially the presentation, and then it's the wrestling. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he is presenting a package that is like, I'm the Hogan.
Yeah.
And nobody else is smart enough to do that, and nobody else has. I feel like nobody else has really, really cultivated their image and their gimmick and their presentation to do that. Or maybe Cody's just way better than I ever gave him credit for, even when I liked him, like when he was doing the Stardust stuff. You know what I mean?
It's probably a little bit of both, honestly, because you see a guy who can work both of those styles. It's pretty cool, man.
For sure.
Yeah. What's next?
Statlander versus Ford.
Penelope.
Statlander's
awesome.
So
she's hurt.
Yep. So here's my notes on this. I said it looked like it was a match constructed from training spots. You could easily convince me that this was both of these guys' first match. For both of these women's first match. It was good. They did better. I think this is probably the most solid match on the card.
Oh. Yeah?
I think so.
Wow.
Like as far as like
that makes sense, man. They got
I couldn't
good coaches there.
They got good coaches. You know, I couldn't tell that one of them was way better than the other.
Right.
I couldn't tell that they were necessarily calling spot. I couldn't tell, like the spots looked very rudimentary, but it gave the match a very basic, easy to follow look.
Yeah.
And the match just went bump,
yep.
and was done. You know what I mean? Like, it was not big and elaborate. It was not confusing. It was not, I'm not saying it was the best match on the card. I'm saying it was the most solid, the most well-rounded, the most encapsulated.
Chris Statlander is going to be, actually, she probably already is, the best women's wrestler there.
Yeah.
Like, and she's injured now. She's hurt. She's going to be out for a year. But
yeah.
She, for right now, for my money, she is. Like, she's better than
Britt
the
Baker?
other ones. Yeah, Britt Baker.
Okay.
Too. Yeah.
I think Penelope Ford probably.
Penelope.
I think Penelope Ford probably has a good future.
Yeah, I do too.
I have no idea. I have no idea where either of these girls are at in their career. I thought they both looked green, and I thought it really showed. You know, like I said, you could easily convince me that this was either of these women's first matches.
Yeah.
But it was also the best first match that I've ever seen. You know what I mean? Like to kind of put that in perspective.
Well,
like it was
and that's the thing. Like that's the difference between great and good.
Yeah.
Like if Chris Statlander was great, you wouldn't have noticed Penelope was green. And if Penelope was great, you wouldn't have known Statlander was green.
Fair call.
But it was good because it was good.
Right.
And they're both green.
Right.
Or one of them's green.
Yes.
And one of them's not good enough to make the other one not look green.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving a little quicker. Dustin versus Sean Spears.
Whatever.
The only thing I want to say about this
What
match,
we got out of that is awesome. But
the only thing I want to say about this match is that it was so painfully obvious that they were doing like he's not here, his music plays because I told him to play it.
yes.
But oh my gosh, the second
he's
time
here.
he's really here.
Good God Almighty!
It's painfully obvious.
Yeah.
Painfully obvious.
Yeah. But we got that fucking Tully promo out of that.
For sure, which was awesome. It's on our Twitters. Go look
Twitters,
it up.
yeah. Hey, Sean Spears should just come out with Tully.
I assume that's what they're working towards, right?
I hope so. God,
Hope so.
God damn.
Hope so.
And Dustin Rhodes should just be keep being
Rhodes.
Dustin Rhodes. Yeah.
How do you feel about his Two-Face?
I love it.
Do you?
Yes.
I
The bodysuit thing always jars me, but I love it, dude. I love what he's doing. I love what he's doing with all of this weird talent that's there. This homogenous, weird
right.
pile of fucking indie talent that is in AEW. Dustin Rhodes is like, hey, 45, Intercontinental Champion, still pretty good at this shit. And WCW Heavyweight Champion at one point in time. Still fucking pretty good. And he is.
Dustin Rhodes is amazing. I don't know how I feel about his package right now. Not his dick. Get your mind out of the gutter.
God
Get your
damn it,
mind
it's
out of
not
the
his
gutter.
dick.
Not his dick. His package. I don't know how I feel about the gold dust, not gold dust, Dustin, half face paint. But here's the thing.
Cool because
Here's the thing. I want to. It is the one thing on AEW that makes me want to tune in to decide how I feel about it. More so than Jake. I know how I feel about Jake being there. I know how I feel about Anderson being there. Dustin Rhodes as not gold dust, but kind of gold dust, but face half Two-Face maybe. It makes me want
right?
to. Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
And it makes me want to watch more to decide how I feel about that.
Yeah. I like it.
Okay, so we are at Moxley versus Brody Lee. This match was good,
Yeah.
painfully dull, and I felt like both guys were fucking half-assing it.
They deserve way better. And they were I don't know that they were half-assing it.
I felt like they looked like they were half-assing it.
Man.
I didn't feel like...
I don't think I saw that watching them.
Yeah.
But, watching it back or thinking back on it, maybe they were. Because it deserves so much more. This should not have been the match at Double or Nothing. Because Brody Lee just debuted 3 months ago. But they're not doing fucking pay-per-views every month.
So
that's the only thing I could say that's wrong about my thought.
Here's what I thought as a 20-year veteran of the business, watching two experienced, established stars and feeling like they're all wasn't in it. I think these are two guys who do not remember how to perform without a crowd.
Man, that's pretty good because I'm a huge Jon Moxley fan, big time.
I'm a huge Jon Moxley fan. I'm a huge Brody Lee fan
too.
I was so disappointed. I had to watch this match twice to temper my disappointment with this match. Because I'm a huge fan of both these guys. And when both these guys went to AEW, I went, now I have to watch AEW because that guy's there. And then I watched an AEW with that guy there, and I was like, well, listen, I love both these. I love Jon Moxley, but it's not worth sitting through Orange Cassidy to get to Jon Moxley.
God damn it, Orange Cassidy. Fuck. I see that. I really do. and you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Like, John Moxley's always fed off the crowd.
Yeah.
That's his entire game. And I think back to him and Hager's empty arena match. And fucking Hager's awesome. Jack Swagger, you know?
Jack Swagger.
He's great, dude.
I keep forgetting that's who Hager is. Every time you say Hager, I go, who the fuck is Hager? Oh, Swagger.
Swagger. He's fucking great. And
His
he's a legit...
His tongue is 3 times the size of a normal human's.
Bill Brask! He's great, dude.
He's got a toenail on the end of his thumb. That's a weird... I said that wrong.
On the end of his penis.
I meant to say he's got a toenail on the end of his tongue.
Thung. Anyway. We're out of control. This is only the second pay-per-view we have to talk about. Hey, that match was great for a crowd. That match was for us who are big fans of both those guys.
Is that crowd? Is the AEW crowd just all the rosebuds or what, man? They all have fucking goofy hats.
It's the workers, dude.
They all have goofy hats and fucking masks.
Yeah.
And that
who are the fucking rosebuds?
the fuck.
You just said that, and I don't know who you're talking about.
Adam Rose, when he used to come out with the fucking train, they were all called the Rosebuds.
The only thing I thought was fucking Citizen Kane. They're not wearing sleds, you idiot. Sorry for spoiling Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
It was 100 years ago.
How about, okay. Let's move on.
Okay.
So that match is fine. We feel like those guys weren't giving it their all, but
those guys were both great.
Those guys are both great.
And Brody Lee did a blade job in that.
Brody Lee did a half-ass blade job.
You don't see that much.
Okay. Stadium match. Football stadium match.
Mother of God.
I enjoyed this more than the
Money in the Bank?
Money in the Bank.
Well, how could you not?
I feel like this. So I feel like this was made by some wrestlers.
Yeah.
And the Money in the Bank was made by some people who don't like wrestling and don't like TV and have only ever read about books and jokes. Read about jokes in books.
Awesome.
They've never actually heard one.
I loved the start of this.
Okay.
Right? So the two
Where
teams
they came out like football teams?
Well, one team did. And then one team didn't have fucking Adam Page there. Because apparently Adam Page just rides horses everywhere.
Well, he's drunk.
Yeah. And drinks. Hey.
That's your gimmick.
I know, it should be.
We need to get you a horse.
I don't know if I can ride a horse.
All right.
Anyway. I don't know that...
Your feet would drag.
If it's a small horse.
Because he's tall.
If it's the horse that Adam Page was riding. Because he's short. I'll fight you, Adam Page.
He was actually on a Shetland pony, but it looked like a normal horse because it was Adam Page riding it.
I need a Clydesdale, you need a pony. What do you want? Anyway.
All right.
The fun parts of this match were fun, right? All of the Matt Hardy shit in the pool fucking had me rolling. It really did. So they dunk him under.
Yeah, they dunk him under.
Ortiz
he comes up as every other
dunk
gimmick.
him under, and he's Matt Hardy. And they dunk him under again. He's Matt Hardy 2.0.
So the only part that got me out of that was when the matter of fact came out instead of a Matt Hardy fact, the matter of fact showed up. I was all in on that.
Yeah, I thought that was all
I was
hilarious.
like, okay, you guys got it.
And honestly, like Matt Hardy kills me. This whole gimmick he does makes me laugh. So I love it.
I felt like this is the kind of thing that gimmick was built for.
Yes, absolutely.
And because he wore for most of his scenes, for most of this shooting, he was Broken Matt Hardy, and he had that big fucking cloak.
Stupid.
Like I don't know.
He wore it for the whole match.
But it looked good. He looked like fucking Pinhead out there fucking fighting this dude, right? So like it was almost like the first time I got the Broken Matt Hardy gimmick, because I have not, hot take, I've not been a fan of Broken Matt Hardy or his storylines or gimmicks or any of that nonsense. But this was kind of the first time where I was like, man, he is the only one who stands out among this group and looks like something else is happening.
Yeah.
I was super disappointed. Jericho vanished in this whole thing. And I don't know if that's because...
Everyone vanished in this whole thing.
Okay. So...
Except for Matt Hardy.
Let me start going through my notes here.
All right, let's do it.
So my notes start when Sammy Guevara shooting star presses onto the fucking group, and it's only his group that catches him.
Awesome.
I got real mad because Matt Jackson used the ladder to climb up to the goalpost and moonsaulted off the goalpost, except that the ladder was clearly taller than the goalpost he climbed onto.
Right, yeah.
So why didn't he just climb up to the top of the ladder and go, like, no, yep.
That's incredible.
My note for the Matt Hardy transformation just says Matt Hardy transformation in the pool and then drowned. Because remember, after that,
they
bring him up. Well, they bring him up 3 times, and then the last time they just drown him and leave him
dead. So they murdered half as many people as the WWE did. Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Have some old camp.
Old camp. You want some?
Yeah, actually. Let me
Shoot, guy. We're having a guy. Little old camp. I don't have any water. I'm gonna have to go get some water. Keep talking.
Got the
while I
old
go
camp.
Get water.
Sorry. Okay. So why is Jack Hager, who is Jack Swagger? Or is it Jake? It's not even Jack anymore?
No, it's Jake Hager. That's his name.
Okay, Jake Hager. Why is he immune to having champagne bottles broken over his fucking head?
Because he's a fucking animal.
But they broke
He's the white
77. They broke 70. He's the white Brock Lesnar? They broke 77 champagne bottles over his head. He no-sold all of them.
Yeah, he's a man. He's an MMA guy.
No, it was stupid, and it was clear that they were. I laughed real hard that I haven't been watching enough to see the whole. What's his name? Cowboy.
Bob Orton.
Not Cowboy Bob.
Adam
Orton. God
Page.
damn it, Adam Page. Thank you. I don't know why his name vanished to me in that moment, but it did. But I haven't been watching long enough to appreciate to watch the whole alcoholic gimmick that they're doing with him. So I laughed real hard when he just got off that horse and went into the fucking bar and started drinking. But then Hager comes in. They pour him a drink. They have a drink, and then they start fighting. But then when Kenny Omega comes in, they start busting those fucking champagne bottles over his head. He no-sells all of them.
Yep.
Listen, if I broke a champagne bottle over your head, you're probably dead by then.
No.
Yes.
Not if they're made of sugar glass or whatever.
Okay, the rolling Northern Lights all the way down the field.
Dumb.
Was that Hagar and?
No, it was Matt Jackson and.
I think it was Hagar or not Hagar.
Guevara.
Yeah. So I had mixed feelings on that because that was one of those things where like.
I'm racist when it comes to Young Bucks.
I hate the Young Bucks, but like the first 3,
they all look the same to me.
When they started, the first 3, I was like dumb, and then the middle 8, 9, 10, I was like, nah, okay,
and then they kept going,
and then 14, 15, I was like, this is dumb, really, and then by the time they made it to the other side of the fucking football field, I was like, respect. Good job, guys. Now,
stick with it.
Here is my problem with it. It was all broken up. They shot to other stuff. You really want me to be impressed. You really want me to appreciate that spot.
Stay on.
Show me unbroken. Show me 100 yards of unbroken fucking Northern Lights suplex, and I'm all in. But I know they didn't do 100 yards of unbroken
Obviously.
suplexes because that'd be fucking insane. And then I'd have to make Matt Jackson and Sammy Guevara.
Sammy Hagar. I can't drive 55. I love it. I don't know. Man.
Okay, the other.
So
hold on. No. So the most memorable spot for Chris Jericho. How about when
JR told everybody his dad wore number 12 for the Winnipeg Jets?
Nope. How about when the other Buck ran the way up he ran all the way up
they all look the same.
The stadium to run all the way down the stadium to do a shooting star or a splash or whatever. Except that
did he run?
Except that no, he didn't, because that's the thing. Except that he kind of shuffled up the stadium, and then he kind of shuffled down the stadium, and then did the. That's one of those things that looks really cool in a wrestler's head, but then when you see it back, you go, oh, sorry guys, that looked dumb as fuck.
I think what I was trying to say is the entire premise of that this whole thing was like, well, the WWE just did these cool cinematic things. We have an entire football stadium.
Right.
We can do whatever we want. Adam Page can ride a fucking Shetland pony in here. And
it'll look like a normal horse.
It'll look like a real horse. And he can go drink beer. He can give Kenny Omega fucking whole milk. And
hey, you know what the spot about that? Like the thing I noticed the most about that spot is he was so like just dumping that milk. Some of it splashed into his whiskey, and I was like, I'd have dumped that out and made a new glass.
Yeah, I'm not drinking that fucking whiskey. You know what? Like we had this whole thing where you didn't get much about the personality of Santana Ortiz. Guevara's just fucking he's just a lemming, and you run him over with golf carts and whatever. It was a lot of fun. Like it really was. Like for the Dynamite fans, for AEW fans, like this was a blast. But it was 50 fucking minutes, and Jake Hager's in there, and Jake Hager's lost one fucking match, which was to Moxley. That empty arena match. That's it. Jake Hager's your fucking Brock Lesnar.
2 now. Okay. You just fucking broke my wrestling. Hold the fucking phone.
No, that's the point, though.
But.
Okay.
But. That's like saying.
I broke his wrestling.
That's like saying fucking MJF is my Jake Roberts. Like,
no, it's
listen,
not.
Yeah, the fuck it is. Hold on. You want to compare fucking Jack Swagger to fucking Brock Lesnar? That's a fucking like
that's God damn
listen,
it.
maybe that's what they're trying to do.
Yes.
Maybe that's what they're trying to sell me as. Except that no, fucking not. No, absolutely not. I'm out all the way out. Fuck that.
Okay.
I'm
great episode.
God damn it.
We've done it. We're drunk. We haven't even
covered
dinner yet.
We covered so much AEW. I had so much to say.
Hey, that empty arena match was fun.
Listen, the last spot was the only one I feel like actually worked.
Yeah.
Omega pulls Guevara up to like the scoreboard, and they do his finish off onto a platform that breaks. The dragon's wings thing. Yeah. And it totally, like, the platform seemed set up, but it was totally
cool.
Yeah, I was good with it. I was good with it. It was fine. Well, it was set up in the right way.
Yeah.
It wasn't like it was a crash pad. It wasn't, when they went through it, it fucking shattered and broke. It was wood, you know what I mean? It seemed like a big car crash to end this nonsense, and then that was it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yonzi.
What?
I feel like I need to call an audible here. As
What kind of audible?
As the host of the Drunk Rasslin podcast.
You are the host, though.
We're supposed to cover all 4 pay-per-views.
We're gonna.
And we only covered 4. Or 2.
Jesus Christ.
We only covered 2 and we're at 2 hours.
We need to eat, though.
So I feel like we need to call an audible here and wrap this up. Let me ask you this. Do you have enough to say on the other 2 pay-per-views that we need to do a full episode for it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then we will be back.
I only on the greatest wrestling match ever.
We will be back. Only on the greatest wrestling match?
Only on that one.
So you didn't feel much about.
Let's fucking cut it and let's go to a new one.
God damn. All right. Fuck. It's what I'm working on.
Because you know what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk for an hour and a half.
I don't have an hour and a half to say on the fucking.
We went an hour on the fucking Money in the Bank and we hated it. Both of us did. God damn. And then AEW pay-per-view.
All right, guys. Guess what?
Jesus.
This
Good God
current
Almighty.
events just became a 2-parter. We are going to.
Hope they're both great.
We're going to break it here. And next week, we will be back with
Backlash.
And
In Your House.
And NXT in your house. Guys, until then, make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you're watching us on Facebook. If you're watching us on YouTube.
And Facebook.
Ring that bell so that you get notified.
Yeah. You need that.
Don't forget to check us out on all your favorite audio podcasting platforms: Spotify, Google Play, Podbean, all those places.
And if we're not on your favorite, tell us.
Let us know.
Put it up there.
Let us know. We are currently releasing a series called The Red Labels, where we are talking about the unsung classic matches of professional wrestling. Make sure you check those out. Those are short. Yeah, those are shorter. Those are little like reviews. They're real inside baseball, but make sure you share them, get them out there. Yeah. It's how we're trying to fucking bring people in to this fantastic, amazing lounge. So you can come in and share the Drunk Rasslin Lounge with us. Guys, I'm going to shut up before I embarrass myself. DrunkRasslin.com.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Drunk, RASSLIN, DrunkRasslin.com.
Wow,
it's our fucking headquarters. Head over there. Check it out right now. Eventually, we're going to start posting blogs and all kinds of stuff on there. We're just trying to bring you all the drunk wrestling content you guys can possibly handle. And hopefully, you'll always drink responsibly as we raise this glass to you tonight.
Cheers, brother.